Hello, Mario. How are
Hello,
you?
I'm great, thanks. What about you?
I'm okay. Thank you. I'm okay. I'm very happy to meet you in virtual time in by Zoom.
My
And
pleasure.
I see you behind you. There is a swimming pool. Where are you?
Well, that's where we live. Place is a little island called Barbados, or in Italian Barbados, which normally
That's
people say Alle Barbados, but it's only one island. So like Mauritius is one island, Barbados, one island. And this is our home. So the pool you see is our own swimming pool where we can enjoy swimming 12 months a year. And the water is never cold and the temperature is never cold. So we enjoy summer throughout the year.
great. It seems a paradise, but I already see some your picture and I can imagine how fantastic place is it.
Yeah, the place is pretty. I can't deny that. So maybe that's why I kind of settle here after so much traveling around the world.
Around the world, yes, because you are Italian man, but from Roma, but
Yes,
to live there. That's right.
Italians are nomads, so it's in the blood.
Okay, so thank you to have accepted this interview, and I would start to ask you something about the quarantine Barbados. Can you tell us how long you had to respect I stay home and how did you live it? Can you tell
Well,
us how you experienced the change, especially as photographer?
yes, well, it wasn't so long, maybe, as you have experienced in Italy, because here really the first cases we had it at the end of March. So the lockdown started basically on the 2nd of April, and it was progressively reduced. So let's say that we have experienced like a 6 weeks of very intensive lockdown, even stronger than what you had in Italy, because we did not even have supermarket open. So we have to organize ourselves to get food delivery, small kiosks. So that was interesting because it opens more opportunity to see other realities, other ways commerce and trade take place with small entrepreneur and so on. But then progressively, when the cases start reducing, basically we had less than 100 cases altogether in Barbados and only 7 deaths. And the
Mm.
country is 280,000 people. So it has not been as dramatic. However, we had very strict rules. We had a curfew at night. We could not go out from 6 in the evening at the beginning until 6 in the morning. Was forbidden to leave your house unless for medical reasons or people who are in the medical field working, emergency police and so on. So the restrictions were tight, but as your question also is how I lived that as a photographer, um, it was also a new discovery in a way. I did not suffer the isolation because already the way I live is already kind of secluded. I spend most of the time at home when I deal with my music, my photography, my writing, and so there was not a dramatic change. And I do things from home, so I didn't have this shift into going to smart work from being in the office. And so
You
on.
enjoy your time. You enjoy your time, a relaxed time.
Yes, well, I'm kind of semi-retired, so I don't do any more the work I was doing in the past with international organizations, with the United Nations and so on, so that I could focus more on what I really love. So the interference of the lockdown was only to the inability of going out with my camera and doing my usual, shots. And but it was interesting because at the same time I start uh, uh, working on awareness of small changes that they happen around you in the environment where you live. So I start taking details of changes during the day, changes of shadows, when the sun moves in a certain direction, then you have the trees or the reflections on the pool, and the details of flowers, which I never noticed before. I could follow the life of a flower from the moment it's a bud and then it opens. And then suddenly you start doing some micro photography. You find out that inside one of the pictures that I might have sent it to you, I don't remember, you could see that there is like a sea star inside the flower, which I never noticed before. So you had an opportunity through the lockdown to experience, to enlarge your awareness of the environment that is around you. So in a way, you can you can discover that beauty is always around you. You just need to see. You just need to be able to see that. So that, in
So
a
you can,
nutshell, was my lockdown experience.
so you say the phrase is very important. So you can discover the beauties around you, but
That's right.
we don't see very often. We need someone that open our eyes. You see.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of each one of us can train our eyes. It's just a matter of putting an effort. Yeah, just like to go a little bit more within, to concentrate, to just calm your mind and start looking rather than doing. We are always busy doing something, doing something, doing something. And then we missed things because we are busy in thinking, we are busy in moving, we are busy in doing things. So we start losing awareness both of what is outside us and what is inside us. So an artist has always the creativity ongoing. And creativity is an asset for discovery. So I might say, when some of us receive this gift of being, of this creativity that is in all artists, and it will be a great pity that we get stuck into something to reproduce always the same, because we will miss the gift that has been given to us by the universe. So on that regard, then with creativity, you just imagine, what can I do with that? What is the purpose of taking these pictures at home? So that's the idea they came to say, okay, let me just use post on Facebook. And I said, it's 40 days normally you call a quarantine. So I will do 40 posts. And these 40 posts, at the end, I didn't expect, it came over 200 pictures that I put there. Yeah, over 220, something like that, that I post within these 40 days. It's 40 posts that spend at home. And it's also like a message for others that look around you. You don't really need to go here and there. Of course, the advantage is if you have a garden is already an asset comparing to living into an apartment. So also that makes you appreciate more what you have, because some people give for granted, oh, I just have a garden, the garden is boring, I don't feel like going anymore. And then when I was seeing all the news from Italy, the telegiornale of the evening, and see how people were constricted in their apartment, and also talking to friends, it's like the image always have another photographer, a very good friend of mine. We were together doing pictures at the high school already. And he told me, he lives on the first floor on a proper 2-bedroom apartment, and he can hardly see the sky. So I just felt, I felt for him to leave the lockdown in that situation. And I could see how lucky I am to be here even during the lockdown.
Definitely will be more difficult in apartment. That's true. But you said something, looking, not doing, just doing, but thinking and looking. So take time for that. But what about now? How is the situation now? It's no longer a complete lockdown, isn't it?
No. It's almost back to normal. What we have to respect is social distance, like everywhere. And until a week ago, we had some restriction that we could not go out in the evening during weekend because they were afraid of being such a place so open, many parties takes place. So the government was afraid that during the weekend we would have too much going on in terms of parties. So they kept Friday, Saturday, and Sunday curfew till 10, from 10 to 5 in the morning. Now even that is being relaxed. We still have to, when we go to any shop, it's compulsory to have the mask. But apart from that, life is slowly going back to normal. The schools are still closed. So we have no traffic basically because of the school time is a tragedy here in Barbados. Everybody drive their own children to the school because of the public transportation is not that great. So you could see still, you can feel a difference to complete normal time, but basically your life is close to normality.
Great. We hope so. We'll be quite fast to restart again.
Yes, because we need the tourism here. So this is it's a bit of catch-22 situation. So the airlines are reopening next week. They start reopening one after the other. And they need to come with a test done 72 hours before if they want to leave the airport. Otherwise, they will have to be tested here. There is places where they put them on quarantine. If they are positive, they have to go into government facilities for 2 weeks. And until they are tested negative, they are going to keep them there. So, but tourism is essential in this country. So we have to take a risk. We have to take chances.
Okay, I understand. And so we talked last year when you did the presentation of your book, Bridgetown Beat. And besides to the black and white photography that enchanted us, what do you like most about to photograph the land where you live? In some way you already described, but can you tell us?
Yes, you rightly pointed out that my major theme or major passion is to portray everyday life, and that was done through that book on Bridgetown. But another very stimulating photography I find in this place is there are many buildings which have been abandoned. And because of the tropical environment, the nature starts taking over and create figures around these buildings. So I love to portray that. I actually did a full-fledged solo exhibition in 2013, which I also I gave the title in Italian because it was so close to English, and I call it Una visione romantica di Barbados, in which I portrayed the nature that is taking over human creation. not seeing as sadness or abandonment, but as a new beginning or a cycle of life. So for people, normally when they ask what is this photography, I just say beauty in abandonment. Is just, if you do a quick title without explaining romantic view of Barbados and all of that, the Baroque concept of the Italians, the art and so on. So that's what I like to do here. In any place I would find something different, because it's also the environment which dictate or stimulate an artist in produce work. I have a great friend, a great Cuban visual artist. He has lived in several countries, and his art is completely different from one place where I live to another place, which means that you are in contact with an environment. You are not working in a vacuum as an artist. So you integrate your creativity with what is around you. And that's what I find Barbados has given me, that I haven't done it before, not even in Africa, because it's a very different environment.
A new cycle of life. There are some words that I catch when you talk. A new cycle. That's important to change our mind in this direction. Anyway, so in these difficult days, you have created a virtual photographic tour that portrays everyday scenes from countries where you have lived. What feeling this experience has given to you? I made a little different from the others. I mean, how did you come up with the idea?
Yeah, in fact, because of also you spend more time at home, and it was an opportunity for me to complete a project that was stuck for a few years, to write a novel based on my experiences. And that was I was stimulated by this work, because I start looking in the shelves of all pictures that I have taken in Africa, for which I only had small prints. And so to remember some of the stories that they allow me to finish up this book, this novel. And so I start taking pictures, all the pictures, not even the negative. I only found some few slides or some few negative, but really not much. So I created another series, again using Facebook, called Tales from Around the World, and which I attach a little story.
Tales from around the world.
Tales from around the world. So with that, I just give a very short story related to the image. So it follows up a little bit of the novel, but this is a complete different concept, because it's a real mini stories. Just in a post on Facebook, you know, you're not going to write even a short story. You just tell an episode, and which talks about the image talks about the episode, and vice versa. So
on the social, you have to be quick, synthetic. And the social, you have just to write few words.
Yeah. Yes. This is the idea. The world is too fast, and the attention span of people with the social media is really pathetic at the moment. It's like I can't really operate much on Instagram, because you can, people don't read, just look at the hashtag and that's it. So I find
very
yes,
late.
and yes, and so in terms of art expression, you can still use this media, but you have to find an intelligent way, so that people might be interested, and then you keep their interest alive. So when I do an exhibition, they say, oh, I've seen that on Facebook, it looks good, so let me go to the exhibition, for instance. So that is some kind of free advertisement that social medias are great for that.
That's true, but anyway, inside the one picture, you put your storytelling. So you, the people that see your image have to feel, just to read different things, different emotion, different
Yes.
colors,
Yeah.
different touch. Great.
Yeah, and being short, it gives opportunity to people just to imagine their own way, you know, or to see, or to perceive some emotions on their own way, or thinking, oh, I wouldn't like to be there. It looks so dirty, or oh, it's so exciting, Africa. Oh, wow, oh, I would like to be there, you know. So you have all these reactions that they might come from an image. And that's what the interesting part also from an artist, to relate to people that tell you what they see in that. And sometimes it's hilarious, and sometimes it's more profound than what you wanted to express. So that's interesting.
You prefer to go in deep,
yes.
More deep.
Yes.
And okay, about that, we are talking about the superficial and some emotion that is deep. One easy question, but I ask for you a difficult answer, probably. Which is your photograph that you love most and mostly represent the period for you?
All right. I think it's not a tremendously difficult question. Actually, it has been taken exactly where I'm sitting now, maybe on the other side of the desk, because this desk where I'm here, actually, I'm borrowing the mobile office of my wife, Devika. And she's an attorney in law, and she has her printer, a computer sitting here and looking at the pool. So I just passed behind and I portrayed. I really portrayed. I find and I enjoy to see a good image of smart work. They say, like, I call it the most wonderful office in the world. Because she's there in the open.
I agree, definitely.
She's in the open, it's warm, she has the breeze, she look at the water and working. So, and that also is, there is a concept behind, is how much we discover through the lockdown, how much society can improve by using the potential of smart working when it's not strictly necessary to commute, to go long distances to work. You can still go. You can still, it's not necessarily you are going to be isolated, because you might have an option. There are many offices, including like my brother and other friends that I have, that they go 1 or 2 days a week to the office, and the rest they work from home. So it's an issue of productivity that has improved, but the quality of life. And then in that image, I wanted to portray the quality of life, through smart working.
And you catch it, definitely. I already saw your picture and you catch the idea, the quality of life. And it's one of my favorite pictures, that one that you described. And let me see, an English production company is working on a virtual photography project to retrace a lockdown, and has requested 3 photos for each nation. Barbados will also be there. Can you tell us about
Yes. it's like it's just by chance. I think it's through the same sequence of the 40 days that somebody who is related to this company saw on Facebook. So they contact me and explain this idea, which I really don't know so much about the detail, but apparently they wanted to create like a photo story through website or documentary. I'm not sure, but it's probably more like a website story. And so they asked me to send some of these images of the lockdown, basically at my place. And I was told that two of them were selected for Barbados. I don't know much about it, but it was something, I think, an interesting project. And it depends on their capacity because and what material they can get, because there's a lot going on in this field. There are a lot of, sometimes you have, I am like on another Facebook group, which is called like image from my window. So you have a lot of initiatives related to that. And, but with the social media, the beauty and the ugliness is that people start putting, doesn't matter what. So you see some really insignificant thing and people 1,000 likes because it stimulate, oh, where are you? I'm from this place, I'm from this other place. So if you do a project, you must have a sort of well-defined objective and quality of images that will make a difference comparing to all these 1,000 social media groups, which are, they come out because also you have nothing to do, so you start putting things on social media about the lockdown, the picture of your dog that is trying to kill your cat, you know, it doesn't matter what. So I hope they will do a good work. I will see it maybe in a month time, what they've come up with. But they said, in fact, that picture that I mentioned, plus another one which I portrayed, a grill, let's say, you know, these security bars that you have. I have some pretty one in our place, and one looks like a heart. So. And there is a nice light. So it represents in a way this enclosure, but with love and nice light. So I think these are the two images that they will use for the project.
So there is a strategy.
Yes, there should be. There should be a line. There should be a message through images. Yes, that's what I think will make a good project.
So the social can be useful for arts sometimes. We hope so. We hope so. And we see the landscape around you. But 1 month ago in MyWhere, we have a write about the World Environment Day. Have a quarantine and the COVID emergency brought any benefit in color for Barbados? How is the environment issue perceived over there?
Yes, I think in a way, because of this paradise here, we have been, in general, less affected by pollution. So there's not been a dramatic change of scenery through the lockdown. Maybe you will see a little bit more clearance to see the horizon, but nothing really very significant. In this sense, Barbados is very young in terms of environment awareness. It has, however, it has been improved this sense of environment since we had problems with the climate change, because we had stronger hurricanes, we have seawater level increasing, and they are some of these islands. If you take, for instance, the Maldives, there is the risk that in 50 years they will not be Maldives anymore. So a lot of the coastline of Barbados, if we don't keep there is a song that they created in the Caribbean, which says 1.5 to stay alive, which means we cannot increase more than 1.5 degree the temperature, which at the moment is over 2 or 3 in a certain period of time to stay alive. Because that, so with this climate change issue, people start being a little bit more aware, because there's been no recycling in Barbados at all, and a lot is left to private initiatives. So like we are very committed into that. We have in the garage all containers, we keep plastic on one side, metal on the other side, paper on the other side, you know, all. And then we fill it up the car and take to the only place where they do the recycle, our own initiative. We have solar panels here. We produce more clean energy than what we are on the grid. So we use from the company, and we give them what we produce. And we produce more energy than what we consume. So this is a sort of consciousness that you have. You contribute to the environment. And so there are little private initiatives, like there is a beautiful place which is the only sand mine, because on the east coast of Barbados, that's the only place where was not a coral origin. So they could get sand for construction, is basically coming to an end. So somebody from the States, the son of who is an environmentalist and is a son of rich Barbadian who own this sand cave to produce sand, to deliver sand for construction, is turning it, and is basically turned into a kind of natural reserve with ponds, so the birds, they start coming back, migration of birds coming back to Barbados, organic food produced. And that is what could make the difference in long terms, because Barbados has been always like a big plantation in the past with the slaves, and it's called plantation economy. So they only had sugar cane, you know, canna da zucchero in Italian, all over the place. And this has created a problem of monoculture with the use of a lot of herbicides, leaching of elements into the water table, contamination of the water. So all these things, they are now coming to realize how important it is. But because we did not have so much pollution, like you guys in Europe, the process is long. It takes time before that awareness is developed into the public.
Okay, so I just would like to ask the last question. When we finish this the COVID, are you thinking to organize another exhibition of a new picture, or to work with another gallery, or where can we see again your picture? MyWhere, yes, we are great to you to exhibit, to show your picture, but anyway, our little one, but we would like to see on the wall. Are you organize something?
Yeah, it's again, it's very difficult to make any forecast on that, because we don't know how the season will develop, because the fear of the second wave of COVID might horribly affect the travel of people coming to Barbados and our own mobility and activities. In principle, what I tend to do after I got a little tired of the art galleries because of their charges and because of the way they are managed, I start doing like around Christmas. I do an open house, and our house became an open gallery. So I had some good sales at that time. And so my next plan is to renew a little bit what I have on the wall. I have interesting work that I did in Varanasi, India during, I was there at the end of the year. So there are some, I find good quality image that I took in India. But the problem is for the local market, people mainly look at Barbados. So I probably have to come up with some more ideas. And I had a project for a long time is like so far so near to say it when I work with the dog in the late afternoon. Sometimes I have my camera with me, and it came out a series of images again to show that you don't need to go so far. I said I don't move more than a kilometer away from the house, and take shots of compositions of simple things. So sometimes it's some humor, you know, they're just like, sometimes there is a vegetation that is grown on the number plate, and then the number plate is not any longer, it looks like the number plate is a plant. You know, this kind of details of things that they might be a subject. So you always try to not to do an exhibition of just what is nice, but a narrative behind that, a concept. So, but that also I have to leave the creativity to come, the ideas to come without forcing it. Very often I get an inspiration. Inspiration can come from anywhere. Sometimes it comes in a dream, for instance. There was like an article I read, and I had a dream related to situation of people who have been separated by COVID. And in the morning, I could not just help. I just went on the computer and wrote a short story, a novel, a short story related to that fact. So that's why it's a little difficult to make a plan. Sometimes the plan comes when it's mature and it comes to you as a gift. At that moment, that's you have to put the effort, because otherwise it's not just the creativity that makes the work for you. Then you have to put an effort. It's like when I did exhibitions of romantic view of Barbados. I did so many kilometers just going around without knowing where I was going until I see something. And that is an effort that you have to make to produce art.
Okay, so we hope that you will find inspiration in Italy the next time you're coming. We hope
Maybe,
that you are coming soon.
I hope so. Maybe I will find it in your house. You never know.
Oh, whenever you like, we enjoy time together with you, with the Vita, and I really appreciate your time. It's a very long interview. I would like to spend hours to talk with you, but probably the readers need something more quick.
Yes.
But we can meet again, because the social and Google help us. So I hope to meet you very soon, very soon.
I hope so too.
Thank you very much indeed,
You're
and
welcome.
enjoy your time in your paradise.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye, Barbados.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Ciao Mario, grazie. Ciao.
Ecco, ciao.